And we are live on the 62nd episode of the Redman Group. I am your host and moderator, Donovan Sharp. Redman Group is brought to you by the 21 Convention Patriarch Edition, which will be from May 3rd until May 5th in Orlando, Florida. This is an event for fathers by fathers and will be the first of 3 events this year. Tickets are available right now at the21convention.org. That is the, spell it out, THE, 21convention.org. You can also get on the VIP list for the 21 Convention this summer, which will be held in Poland. Getting on the VIP list puts you first in line for early bird tickets, meaning you get a substantial discount if you buy early. Today, guys, we are going to discuss the scourge that is single motherhood. And I know a lot of you guys might be thinking, God damn, these guys are beating a dead horse here. How much more can you talk about single mothers? Well, you guys are the same dudes, the guys that complain about this. You guys are the same dudes who call in and ask us questions about a single mother that you're thinking about wifing up. So that's why we talk about topics like this on the regular. So before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce our panel for today's episode. First is Japanese Booty Bandit, making his long-awaited return to the Redman Group of ModernLifeDating.com. Follow him on Twitter at ModernLifeJohn and on Instagram. You can search Modern Life Dating. Be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel where he does his show, Interview with a Man, which airs weekday mornings at 8 a.m. Am I getting that right, Jonathan?
9 a.m. due to the daylight savings time. But
9 a.m. now due to daylight savings time. If it's Monday in the States, it's like October the 17th in Japan. But next is the founder of Fourth R Consulting, Ryan Stone. At _Ryan_Stone is where Ryan can be found on Twitter. Search the same thing to find him on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel where he does the Redman Group pregame show with Carl, actually called Red Morning. I was on there this morning. We had a lot of fun. RyanStone.com is where you can find his exclusive content and book one-on-one consultations. If you want to support him further, make sure you check out his Patreon page at _Ryan_Stone. Also on the panel today, making his long-awaited return, is none other than the CEO and founder of 21 Studios and the 21 Convention, Anthony Dream Johnson, who, of course, is not related to Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. His websites are 21studios.com, the21convention.org. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, which is the Redman Group, as well as his channel, 21 Studios. And for exclusive content videos, make sure you sign up at 21 University. Next is the godfather of the manosphere himself, Rollo Tomasi. He is the author of the book series, The Rational Male, Preventative Medicine, and Positive Masculinity. You guys can follow him on Twitter at Rational Male. You can also catch him here on the Redman Group on his YouTube channel and on the Pat Campbell Show every Friday morning at 9:05 Eastern on 1170 a.m. That's Talk Radio in Tulsa. Last but not least is myself. You guys can find my content on DonovanSharp.com, YouTube, and Patreon. I am now on the air Monday through Thursday afternoons from 1 to 3 Eastern on my YouTube channel. Guys, it's good to have you on this morning. How are we doing?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Let's go ahead and do this round robin update special thing. Rollo, lead us off, man.
Sure. I'll be as brief as I possibly can here.
No,
I'm trying to do best practices now on YouTube. So first of all, I want to apologize for starting off late here. Again, YouTube is adding extra crap to the URL, to Hangout URLs, and we're still trying to figure out why they're even doing that is beyond me. But anyways, yesterday had a really great show with Pat Campbell. I was on and I want to call it a debate, but it was really more of just like sort of a discussion about marriage with Dr. Everett Piper. Dr. Everett Piper is he used to be, I think he just retired from, I think he was the chancellor or something like that of Wesleyan University in Oklahoma, and religious guy. And so it was kind of an interest. I of course took the MGTOW side of marriage, all red pill MGTOW side of marriage, and he of course took the more religious tact. He's sort of new to the manosphere. He is also beginning, I guess, sort of a new career or a new life as a e-personality, I guess. I'm not really sure how to really describe what it is that he's trying to do right now, but really interesting guy. I've been having a lot of conversations with him. He's been really helpful in parts of developing the 4th book right now. He's throwing some ideas. We're just having conversations right now. So it's possible that I'm going to have him on Religion and the Red Pill which is one of my other shows on my channel. So that's coming up. And let's see what else. I've got my show coming up on Sunday, and that's about it. Oh, I did I hooked up with our old friend Christian McQueen finally.
Yeah.
I went on his show, his podcast, and it's free, so don't think it's not behind a paywall. You guys can get it for free. If you check my Twitter feed, you can find the link to it. I went for about 2.5 hours with him, and whenever I go on with Christian, it's I never know what he's going to ask me. And so like, cause we'll sit and we'll chat right before we go live. And then like, he'll insert all of this shit that we didn't talk about before we were talking about what we're going to talk about. Right. So it actually ended up being a really, really good interview. It's 2.5 hours. It's all audio. So you can like play it on your commute or whatever else you want to do. So that's what I'm doing these days.
Excellent. Jonathan, what you been up to, man?
Just doing the radio show. Pretty much Monday to Friday, sometimes Sundays. Been doing that 9 a.m. to 10, sometimes 11 if I'm feeling real righteous. And then the guys in my body language mastery group, I've been doing the webinars with these guys 2 times a day, along with my private Facebook group. So I decided Q2 registration is going to be June 28th. June 29th, June 30th, July 1st, and July 2nd. After that, it's closed off until Q3. It's limited access. So the guys who are in right now are getting just monumental amounts of value. I'm literally changing lives. Dudes I'm helping guys negotiate 6-figure salaries, like the whole 9 yards, the whole little Bitcoin bump that's been going lately. A couple of my guys made a little pocket change. Like the webinars have evolved into something far more greater than any of the members involved could have thought. Like, it's gone from women to fitness to relationships, finances, negotiating higher salaries, the whole 9 yards. So, I'm just helping these guys out who need help. And surprisingly, a lot of them come from single mother households, which we'll dive into more about today. So happy to be here. Thank you all for having me, and on to the next gentleman.
Yeah, real quick before Anthony goes, guys, this is what we do. Listen, there's no shortage of guys who say, "Can we skip the intros and get to the good stuff?" This is the show structure. If I understand what you guys are talking about, but this is how we do it. So tune in at 11:20 or I don't know, not bad example there. Tune in at 11:30 if you want to get to the good stuff. We introduce the panel. I'm not going to sit here and give you a reason for it. Why? Because we said so. This is what we do. Quit bitching about it.
As soon as I saw you in chat, I knew that was coming.
Extra on edge today, so I'm gonna.
But here's the thing, though. This is a panel show. Okay, we have different guests on here all the time. I mean, there's some we're regulars. This is a panel show, and if we need to tell you what it is that we're doing, so you guys can get an idea what we're doing individually, and then we move into that. We're trying to keep this thing as short as possible. Yes. Trust me, we know.
Not only that, guys we get guys that are new. Who's talking? This is why we do what we do. Carry on.
And at the end of the day, these guys, they're looking for free handouts, and those guys are the ones that continue to drag their feet through life and collect up those participation trophies.
No, I agree. Not everybody gets a trophy and an ice cream sandwich at the end of the fucking day. Grin and bear it. Anthony, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. It is good to be back. I know everybody missed Daddy Dream. I missed you guys too. I'm loving Ryan's haircut here. I've been busy. I don't even know where to start or stop. I've been busy rebuilding the patriarchy, of course, building 3 conventions this year. I went to Poland, came back. That was a fucking huge red pill mass. I heard a lot about Eastern Europe before I went. Very positive things from our speakers over the years, but I'd never been. And I've been around the world, like 25 countries, Australia, Indonesia, South America, Central America, Europe 4 times. But Poland was fucking amazing. It was heaven. The women were beautiful. They were feminine. The women acted like women. The men acted like men. As simple as that sounds, I have never seen that at scale in the world, anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in Europe I've been, Germany, the UK, Sweden, it's not like that. Even Central and South America are not quite like that. And even then, it's different from what you see in Poland, which is like very clean, very first world country. So yeah, it was fucking epic. I can't wait to go back. I was hoping I'd like it. I figured I would, but I was blown away by that experience. And now I'm here back in Florida, back at 21 Studios HQ, preparing for the upcoming Patriarch Edition, first ever of the 21 convention. It's in about 3 weeks in Orlando, Florida. And then after that, I'll be going to grounding camp with Elliot Hulse up in New York in June. And then I will be flying out pretty soon after that back to Europe, to Poland. And I'm going to spend at least a month over there. See how many Polish women I can get pregnant or something like that. Just drive around the country. I figure I'll find some in some milkmaid dresses or some shit, you know, out in the country. But even in the cities, it's amazing. And Warsaw was fucking awesome. I hear Krakow's even better in the south. So I'm really excited to go. I figured it'd be a really good location to do the fourth European convention for 21. But it looks like it's even better above and beyond that. I got to hang out with Andrew Tate as well. I got to meet him. Him and his brother came into town in Warsaw, and that was incredible. I didn't quite know, how I'd like, hanging out with Tate, but it was fucking awesome. Incredibly human being. All the flack that guy gets is complete bullshit. The guy is an extreme alpha male, totally legit, and it was a pleasure hanging out with him, getting to know him and his brother a little bit. Really excited to have him, highlighting the upcoming event. Rolo's keynote for Poland, but Andrew Tate is definitely the king of toxic masculinity. It's very, very nice to meet him. Fucking awesome. And that's about what's going on with me. Just rebuilding the patriarchy and building 21.
Good, damn right. Ryan, what you got going on, man? What's cooking?
Well, other than you were just on, it turns out I screwed up, guys. My bad. The live show with Donnie here was was unlisted, so it's live now. Watch it after this show if you want. I'm going on vacation literally right after we're done here. I'm on my way to Mexico to meet my brother. I haven't seen him in forever. So I've got a couple videos in the kitty. You guys will have tons of content. For those of you guys that don't like hearing us sell our stuff, until I start seeing 12,000 people watching my show, I'm going to keep telling you about it. So just show up there, hit your like button, hit your subscribe. New cooking video out here going over Amuse Mastery, Agree and Amplify, comfort tests, all the basic stuff, because I'm seeing guys time and time again failing it. And then aside from that, I'm not drinking this cast. I am hopped up on caffeine and I'm still going at it. Feel free to check out the website. When I get back, consulting's back online. You guys are going to enjoy it. I got nothing else for you now other than thank you for the weird backhanded compliments about the haircut. I don't know about you guys, but I hate that tan line when you got long hair and then you cut it short and you get that gray crap there.
Oh, I know.
So I'm not doing it.
I think it looks good, man. I think you're fine.
I feel like a Marine.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe people are troll you. Who cares? I'm sure Carl will fuck with you over it.
Proof comes out. Anything else, Ryan? Anything else?
Buy tactical soap. Use my affiliate code for it. I don't care.
Excellent. If you buy tactical soap from Ryan's affiliate link, you grow a 9-inch dick. So there's a little plug from him.
Links in the description. Use code PewDiePie.
Me, myself, I had a fantastic week. Had all kinds of guests on. I had Rolo, Ryan, I had Anthony on, Gay Lou Boyle. Goldman made his first appearance on my show. He knocked that out of the park. Even had Steve the Dean on a couple of times. So this past week is packed with rock solid content from bona fide red pill guys. Made my relaunch a big time success. I'd like to have MLD on at some point in time, provided the time difference works out. I talked about a little bit of everything from fake outrage about women being approached on college campuses by wannabe PUAs, all the way to man-on-man cuddling groups right here in Philly, which was kind of weird but kind of funny. I also released 2 exclusive videos on Patreon. The first video discusses why females act like overgrown children, no matter their age, and it's not for the reasons that you think. The second video, I gave you guys my own go-to strategy when it comes to dealing with and handling other alpha males who get within the vicinity of you and your girls. It's not the typical A-mogging or anything like that. It's basically engagement. So you guys definitely want to check that out. So that's what's going on with me. Obviously, you guys know where to find my content. All right, guys, let's get started here. Today, we are talking about single mothers and why they are the absolute worst females to commit to. And Rollo, I'd like to start with you here. And there are so many elements to this, I don't know where we should start. So I'm not going to get fancy. Rollo, single mothers, go.
All right. One of the reasons I wanted to sort of retouch this topic here is because Rich Cooper had a lot of shit thrown at him recently, and I think this is kind of a trend that we're starting to see in the fem-stream media. Okay, and I have been harping on this gender war hashtag for a while right now, but I think that this is really kind of an extension of this idea that we've got to have, like, in this election cycle, we've got to beat down men. We've got to make men look bad. And he was, I don't want to say he was attacked, but I think he got he got brought up in at least a couple of mainstream sites.
Oh shit!
Conglomerate. I think they were like aggregate blogs or something like that. But basically like kind of mommy blogger type stuff. And I think in the UK last week or the week before, it was Mother's Day. And they celebrated it differently over there, I guess. And so they just said they went and I don't know how they did this, but they went and filtered through some of the old 21 convention footage and caught Rich in the 2017 talk that he had done. And they just basically pick through the bullet points that he was talking about, which I've already put in the description of this video, so we can sort of go through those as well. But I think what we're kind of seeing right now is there's whenever they need clicks, right? Whenever they need red meat for the mill for these people, they will start coming to the manosphere and they'll start looking for just red meat from us, right? Because it seems pretty outrageous when Rich or I or anybody else says something about single mothers, or we say something about fat chicks, right? That's going to be the next. Trust me, that will be the next thing. It'll be fat shaming, or it will be something else. Anything that goes against that feminine primary narrative. And this is just sort of the topic du jour right now for them. I forget who was. It was AJ Cortez. Prior to this one, their manufactured outrage was AJ Cortez and his list talking about how women can be more feminine, and these are the things that you can do to make yourself more feminine. And that went viral to the point where local news stations were picking up on it. Morning shows were picking up on it just so that they could talk about it. And what's interesting is most of the chicks agreed. And most of the guys on these shows were just kind of like, oh, well, I wouldn't want to be like him, haha, he looks like a chick, and trying to find ways to sort of boost themselves up on the back of what AJ was talking about. And I'm sure when AJ put that list out, it wasn't like he's trying to go get, to have it go viral, but it's so easy right now to trigger these guys that anything that we've done, particularly in the past, I mean, there's on my work alone, there's got to be at least 10 to 12 years of stuff that they can go, root through and go, oh, this guy Rollo Tomasi said hypergamy is this or whatever. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to revisit this topic. The other thing is I don't think that we really get deep enough when it comes to why we're in this situation right now with single mothers. Why are single mothers an epidemic right now? I put the stat in here. 43% of births today are out of wedlock. So what that means is that single mothers have children because either it's a good idea to them or they're incentivized to do something like that. Why do we see this increase in single mothers during this period of human history?
Hey, Rollo, question on that. Sorry to cut you off.
That's good.
Did they separate the single moms from like cohabitating parents on that study at all, or no?
I don't believe so. I'm not really sure. I'd have to go back and dig through the specifics of that. But I think what's interesting is they always make it as if it's like a fatherless home. They always throw out the idea that it's because men aren't manning up, right? It's because men aren't accepting their responsibility. And so it's like neurolinguistic programming. So rather than saying 43% of children are born to single mothers, they say to single parent families, or else they say to fatherless families. And anytime I see the term fatherless or where a father is not in the house, I see where they're implying or they're pointing to the blame there. And what they don't acknowledge, and probably intentionally so, is that only women can choose to really be a single parent these days. Men can't do that. I mean, financially, they can't do that. Can you do it logistically? Yeah, you probably could, but you have to jump through so many different hoops to actually become a single father. It's ridiculous to think otherwise. Put it this way: I can't go down to the egg bank and look for a hot chick and go, I'd like to breed with her. I'm going to use my sperm to get, and then I've got to go find a donor a surrogate mother to carry the baby to term. I can't do that. I don't have the money to do something like that unless I'm like, grossly rich. I can't do something like that. Whereas women, we make it as easy as possible because in a feminine primary society, we make motherhood a right. So it's a right to be a mother. So if I want to, if I'm a female and I want to have kids and I can't find the right guy, and suddenly I'm pushing 40 years old, I can go and freeze my eggs, or I could have froze my eggs back when I was 30. I could go and find a sperm donor. I could carry the baby to term, and I could have the kids, and I have access to all kinds of special compensation, dispensation through social programs, whatever. Basically, this is resource transfer from men to women, so women can have those children. And what we're looking at here is when we look at single mothers, we're looking at eugenics here. Or some guys want to say it's dysgenics, whatever. Okay. But what I mean by that is women are choosing the direction of human reproduction here. It's where women want to go with it. If I really need to find the study for this, because I'm going to quote this anyways, but I'll dig it up and put it in the description here. But most women, when they go to like a sperm bank and they're looking for a sperm donor, they're not looking for a guy who's an astrophysicist. They're not looking for the guy who is, a leader of industry or a Fortune 500 guy. They're looking for the dude who played water polo in college. They're looking for the guy who is ripped. They're looking for the guy who does CrossFit. Okay. It is very, very Darwinistic, the way that women select for, and okay, is that right or is that wrong? I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I'm just saying that's just what they tend to select for. It's not because they're not looking for intelligence. They're looking for hotness, which falls pretty much in line with the sexy sons theory.
Rollo, sorry to interrupt, but I have a question. So you're the oldest on the panel. What was single motherhood? How prevalent did you feel it was in the 90s and like late 80s? I was a kid in the 90s, but it was super rare. It was more rare than it is today. I'll tell you that. I'll rewind the clock a little bit further. I've told this story before, but my mother-in-law, had a child very early. Like, she got pregnant when she was like 19 years old, and got married because of that. But she was telling me one time, she says, I can't believe that we're in the state that we're in right now, because back prior to the sexual revolution, like in the 40s and the 50s, it was shameful for a woman to have a child out of wedlock. Particularly if that kid was anywhere between like 16 and 19 years old, they would take that girl and they would do what was called putting her away. And they would put her away until she had the kid, and they would put the kid up for adoption, and then she could come back to the family. And this is not like holy
this
shit.
is not like Muslim, was it honor killings or anything like that. This is like regular waspy white people, okay, would say, this is shameful. And it wasn't even, I mean, of course the religious aspect was a part of it as well, but it was just societally, it was something that was shameful for a woman to do. And remember, this is prior to hormonal birth control. The only way that you had any kind of birth control back then was if the guy wore a rubber. And, if you're a 19-year-old kid, you're probably not going to be wearing a rubber. And so that was a shameful thing. And then she told me that, I can remember when she was saying that when sperm banks first came out I think it was in the late 60s, it was supposed to be ostensibly it was to help couples who couldn't have children. It was part of the fertility clinic thing. I think it might have been part of the Kinsey studies or the Kinsey research, it might have been Mayo Clinic or some shit like that. But it was there to supposedly to aid in helping women who couldn't have babies have babies. And everybody at the time was up in arms about it, because they said this is just going to encourage single motherhood. And they were right. That is exactly what happened, because once we had hormonal birth control, that's exactly what women did. So now we have sperm banks in 2019, and we don't think twice about it. When we see women freezing their eggs, we say, oh, they're doing this. They're freezing their eggs because they want to focus on their career. If you look at the studies and you look at the statistics, that is absolutely completely false. It's because they can't find the right guy. They have held out well past their prime, and they can't find the right guy to go have babies with. And so they want to freeze their eggs, because feminism has taught them that they can live the sexual lifestyle of a man, that they can prolong having kids as long as a man can, which is 100% false, because every year after, like, say 30 or 31 years old, a woman's chances of conceiving and carrying a baby to term drop dramatically. And people want to say, well, women are in their sexual prime when they're in 33, some odd years old. It's like, no, they're not. Their fertility their highest fertility window is 22, 23 years old. That is their peak sexual market value era for them. So back in the day, single motherhood was a shame, but we have systematically turned those women from being shameful into being superheroes now. So you don't need a man anymore. And I think that the generations that came prior to all this saw this coming. They saw that this would be an elimination of men. And to keep a functioning society, we need men that have incentives to want to get married, to want to have children. I was talking about this with Dr. Herbert Piper just yesterday. We need to have a functioning society. We need a family unit that's strong. Well, feminism has been trying to destroy, literally has expressly tried to destroy the family structure ever since, well, people say second wave feminism, whatever. Okay. Second, third wave feminism doesn't, the point is that the destruction of the family is a written out goal of feminism. And so how are they going to
the family with a single, like a dad and a mom? Because you see those covers of the Parents magazine, like 2 women, okay, 2 gay dudes, okay, 2 lesbians, okay, but like the traditional man woman, can't offend that. The rest of the world, we've been doing this since the dawn of civilization, but God forbid we offend somebody with purple hair.
That's the that is the principle that I call removing the man. And we have been removing men ever since like the late 60s. We want to pull them out of the family. We want to erase them from, I was just watching this video by Janice Fiamengo, who I think would be a great guest for this show, to be honest with you. The only woman I would actually consider having on the Red Man group would be Janice. She just did this story on, and if you don't watch her channel, you probably should watch her channel. She did a story on this college that is literally erasing men from the names of buildings that these guys were like donors for this like high contributing donors for this college. And so if you contribute like X amount of million of dollars to the university, you get a building named after you. Well, now the ladies are up in arms because they're named after men. So it's okay to name a building after a woman, but if it's a man's name, we have to erase it and replace it with a woman's name. And that's really where and I've written several articles about replacing the man. And that's what this really is. It kind of boils down to, single motherhood is erasing the man. It's taking the guy out. And I've talked about this on my Father's Day shows where I've said that, we shame men and we want men to be better men. But when it comes to single mothers and mommies on Mother's Day, it is all praise. And, we have to turn them into superheroes because they chose to become single mothers. And if they didn't choose, they are, we want to say that it's men's fault for not manning up and accepting the responsibility of the children that they produce. But ultimately, when a woman gives birth, it is all her choice. Once a man has reproduced, once a man has conceived with a woman, if the baby is born, it is all entirely up to the woman for that baby to be born. That man is completely is locked out legally, socially, in every single way of any decision-making power over whether or not that baby is going to be born. So if that woman wants to have an abortion, he doesn't get a say in that. She kills your kid. That's it. End of discussion. And even to the point where she can give birth to the kid and now, unfortunately, can abort the child after birth, like right after birth, if that's what she wants to do. And so we afford women this unilateral control over the human reproduction process. That's why I call it eugenics right now, because that's what we see happening. And I'm not saying that there's this rash of women running down to the sperm bank to reproduce, but they don't have to do that anymore because it actually behooves women more to lock a guy down with a baby or trap a guy with a baby and make money off of him and the state. Why wouldn't you want 2 sources of income? One directly from the guy.
It's a financial strategy. Look, when I was working at the Westgate in Florida, right, I would hear girls, talking about how they were trying to like strategically marry a guy just to divorce him. A lot of these girls, Dave Chappelle said this. Like a lot of girls are like qualified paralegals. Like they know the laws, they know the alimony laws. That's why if any of you guys are NBA fans, you know that these girls, they sit outside and they wait and they're star fuckers. They try to hook up with these NBA dudes, get a child, and then boom, you lock them in for life. Because, you know, child support, it is not a set allotted payment. It is a percentage of a man's income. Every woman knows this, especially every woman posting her ass on Instagram. So they're trying to lock down a guy with the highest salary. And that's why you see these celebrities. One of them I realize, there's a guy who fights in the UFC named Cody Garbrandt. You know, he became the UFC bantamweight champion. And, you know, he's a little blue-pilled himself. He married some chick that's older than him. And then as soon as he became champion, boom, it popped out a kid. Now, guess what? They're married, got a kid, and he's a multimillionaire. So she's set for life. She can bounce if he, like, you know, his career takes a dive, or she could bounce pretty much whenever she wants. And she's financially set. And guess what? If the script was flipped for guys, we'd be doing it too. All I'm saying is that the system is fucked. Are you telling me that
it's a system of incentives is what it is right now?
They're incentivized.
They're incentivized in Western society right now. Women are incentivized to be single mothers above being married mothers right now, because there's more money and there's more resources to be had being a single mother than there is being a married woman to a guy that, you know, God forbid. You know, and of course, we want to give women as much control as we possibly can, even within the confines of marriage. We want to give men 100% responsibility and 0% authority. We've already talked about that. But what is a better situation for a woman right now? And Dalrock has talked about this several times, and he says that ever since, like, say the early 70s, we have moved, when it comes to raising children, we have moved from a marriage-based model for raising children to a child support model of raising children. So what that means is, like, women can have kids that, remember, think about what men and women used to get married for. It used to be men were marrying women for sexual access, and women were marrying men because they needed provisioning, they needed support. It was a play on, you know, women being the weaker sex, and we've had patriarchy all the way up to right about the sexual revolution right there. And that's when women didn't need men anymore. That's when we get like Gloria Steinem saying, you know, fishes and bicycles and shit like that. Okay. We're removing men from that equation. Well, now we're seeing the results of that. We're pulling men out of the reproductive equation, and their influence is no longer necessary. We tell women that they can be just as good a father as they can be a mother. We say you can be, because we want feminized little boys and we want empowered little girls. Now we need single mothers, and men are just superfluous. Fathers are just superfluous, I should say. They're nice to have around, but ultimately they're unnecessary because women can do it all. And we keep hammering this home for women, saying that they can do everything. They can be the universal parent in all of this. And so we feed them into that. And then I think what's interesting is whenever you challenge that narrative, like Rich did with his talk, whenever you challenge that narrative and you say, here are the different, and I kind of want to go through this too, Donovan, the stuff that's in the description there as like each of those little bullet points there. When you challenge that narrative and you point out all of the red flags and all of the downsides for dating a single mother, you get run up the flagpole for that, because you're challenging something that is integral to the feminine imperative right now. We need to make sure that men shut the fuck up. That's what they want you to do. And they want you to marry those kids because there's still that want to marry those guys, or there's still that want to still be having sex. Maybe they're not even going to get married. A single mom doesn't necessarily is going to marry you, but there's a lot of stuff that comes along with that they don't want women who are choosing to become single mothers to really consider,
right?
Or certainly not have a guy
doing it,
fly that in their face.
Big shout outs, a couple of thank yous here. Perfect Burrito, he actually has made two super chat contributions here, $1 a piece.
Now I'm hungry.
That's interesting. Perfect Burrito, we need delicious tacos in here, and then we've got our own little red Mexican restaurant. Shout out to Freelance Ronan with the $5 super chat. He says, wrap it in latex or she gon' get your paychecks. Take your red pills daily. Very, very well said. Anthony, What are your thoughts, just in general, on single motherhood, their effects, etc.?
Sure. So something that came to mind when Rollo was talking about, some of the comparisons now for single mothers and how they're praised. They're actually, the culture is so fucked up and flipped on its head, clown world, that single mothers are praised socially above and beyond traditional mothers. Because it's like a victim class, right? They can be empowered and all this other bullshit. Any woman, like say Tanner Guzzi's wife or whatever, that wants to go out, I think her Instagram profile says like, being a mother and making cookies. This is like looked down upon. She's seen as a traitor, internalized patriarchy, all that bullshit. So it's kind of amazing that a woman who's pretending to be like a universal parent, like Rolla said, which is totally fucked and, against nature and ridiculous, that's elevated above socially at this point, above being an actual mother, having a father around, like raising your kids, together like you probably should for the best outcome. So it's nuts. On a personal level, I have a lot of experience with single mothers, nothing crazy, but, almost 10 now.
Just fucking them.
Yeah, just fucking them. Yeah, I haven't put any babies in them yet that I know of.
Ejaculate and evacuate.
Yeah, I'll pass on the sloppy seconds for the womb on that. Single mothers, I find, well, a couple things. Single mothers are, I think, independent of their beliefs, which are probably going to be feminist most of the time, right? Even if they're not, it doesn't really matter. I think they're probably the epitome of feminism as like an outcome for women today. It is the complete opposite of make women great again, is fucking your life up. Unless you're a widow, but we're never talking about widows in a single motherhood context, like ever. We're talking about women who either cause themselves to be single mothers or they, eject a guy out of their life or whatever. It's just fucking nuts. But yeah, single mothers are a lot of fun. That's why I fucked them. At least I did. After going to Poland recently, I'm kind of like losing taste for that. But it's kind of like sugar babies and salt babies. It was like a little stint I had. What'd you say, Donovan?
I said, yeah, you got spoiled, man. Going to fucking single mothers real quick and then going to Poland, that's like eating a cheeseburger and then putting bacon on the cheeseburger. You can never eat a regular cheeseburger again.
The benefits, single mothers are not, on a social and like cultural level, they're horrible. On a personal level, they're not horrible, but they are super dangerous. And a lot of guys, I've said that before on the show, and guys need to hear that. If you're dating one or even thinking of dating one, like absolutely get the fuck out of that relationship. It's really dangerous. There's like almost no chance you have the game to do it. You're going to get fucked over and, wear the rubber, you're going to be paying paychecks or whatever. I totally agree with that. But single mothers I find to be they're very sexual. That's one of the impulsive. That's one of the reasons they're almost guaranteed they're, a single mother.
Right.
A lot of them tend to have fake tits. They're kind of screwed up in the head a little bit, daddy issues. So they're tasty. It's a tasty cheeseburger. I'm not going to lie. But man, I'm not going to get into too many details, but I'm glad that I have the strength of character that I do to, well, let's just, cut the bullshit, pull out, not fucking keep it in there. Other guys don't, and that's how they end up, knocking up single moms. And it's fucking dangerous. It can ruin your life in a heartbeat, independent of whether or not she has a cluster B disorder or anything like that. These women are fucked up, and they have fucked up lives, and statistically, they produce really fucked up children. And that's really sad and unnecessary and ridiculous. It needs to stop. I know I asked that question to Rollo because growing up as a kid in the 90s in Florida, like there were some kids at school who had divorced parents, but even that was pretty rare. And hearing about a single mother, I don't even remember hearing that term probably until the 2000s. Like it wasn't even a concept in my head as a kid growing up. Whereas now in Florida in the 2010s, it's super prevalent. It's fucking everywhere. And I'm wondering if that's bias looking on Tinder and Bumble and shit like that. But really, like, it's all around me all the time. It's not just me looking on Tinder or meeting these girls at bars and shit. It's all my buddies. I have 2 friends right now getting fucked over by single moms, like, super hard. In spite of doing what I do, in spite of seeing what I post on Facebook and Twitter and all this shit, they're too fucking, I forget who said it recently. It was Andrew Tate or somebody. Pussy can pull a freight train uphill. Men are get fucking dumb, and single moms are particularly good at manipulating men, whether or not they have any kind of psychological disorders or personality disorders. So those are my thoughts on single moms. They're very tasty cheeseburgers, but they're very dangerous. They can kill you. If not you, then your wallet. Close enough. So tread carefully. And I'm at the point now at 30 where I'm starting to get out of that little stint. But I will say too, one of the reasons I take single moms, a lot of them have fake tits. I'm a huge fan.
Yep.
But other than that, it's just not worth it, and it's super dangerous. And I think I'm past it for a while now.
Fake tits are great. Fake tits are great tits. Shout out to Hokey Bukito with the $7.62 super chat. Maybe he's a fan of Barry Bonds, who hit 762 home runs in his career. 500 of those he may or may not have done on steroids. Ryan, what you got on single mothers?
Yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach here. I think, like Rolo said earlier, it's all economics. Reason I say that, when I was a kid, there was maybe one or two single moms. Everybody was the nice, happy blue-collar families, logging town. Softwood lumber disputes came, and the logging industry got gutted. And all of a sudden, within 10 years, all the dads were on coke, and all the moms were divorced.
Yeah.
So I don't think the guys were great guys, and then all of a sudden became crappy guys. The environment changed. And then all of a sudden it was divorced kids. And those divorced kids became the single mom kids. As far as this ad hoc eugenics experiment, and Rolo's right there, it is. It's a eugenics. It's a crowdsourced eugenics.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we can say it's kind of a flippant way to describe it, it's pretty much true. Right now, this is something that's happening. You can't gumption your way out of it. If it hasn't hit a country yet, like I'm pretty sure Poland, we'll see what happens. I hope I'm wrong, but as it stands now, the countries that aren't there yet. They're not unable to get there. So my thought is, what am I going to do about it? Because let's face it, if you took this as like a MGTOW conversation, it's everybody complaining about how single moms are bad and the world's going to hell in a handbasket, which is true. But then the thing we got to do about it is you just play within these new rule sets. Girls are incentivized to be single moms. They're incentivized to divorce. So you do what you can to protect yourself like that. You work around the system, and it doesn't make them bad women. They're just following things. And because right now women spend money, that's why things like universities are catering to them by removing men on there. Because women are the ones going to university now. When men were going, we didn't really care who was on the building. Girls are going. Girls like to be placated, and so they're putting, Rosa Parks as the headmaster of every building on there. It's because they're spending money. Corporate interests generally cater to their sensibilities. And that's why you're seeing this feminine progress. And the only thing you can blame is stupid dads who let them spend all the money in their house and credit that allows them to spend well beyond their means. And the guys that save them from their debt by picking them up after they're a single mom, deciding to pay off the debt and be a good husband. So we've kind of collectively created our own environment based on these changing trends. And we kind of have to own that. Doesn't mean you need to wife up a single mom, though. That's probably the worst thing you can do.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I don't think you really need much. Yeah, we'll have like a couple hours talking about how bad they are and why. But at the end of the day, like, why would you want one? Find one that's not.
Mm-hmm.
And some guys can work it out. Like Texas Dom married a single mom. They've been married for 20 years or some shit now. They've worked out, but that's the exception to the rule.
Some guys won the lottery. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
My retirement on it.
Even at the best situation you could imagine with a single mother right now, you are still fulfilling her hypergamous priorities.
There you go.
Okay. Yep. This is what I was going to say, Don, is I think really the biggest reason why guys should not certainly wife up a single mother or, really even pander to a single. I understand. Yeah, that's a tasty cheeseburger. Guys want to have the fun, wild sex because she's looking for, God only knows she has to. What's interesting is like women who are single mothers kind of have to be better performers in bed because the chips are down. They know this is what you're gonna. This is like a sample. It's like the free sample. This is what you're gonna get every night if you marry me, if you wife me up, and you adopt my kids, right?
Well,
so there kind of has to be that.
They've been through the process of being pregnant, which is super arousing to most women. So that's, I find, a big part of what single moms are into, much more so than regular, 20-year-old girls who decide to college or some shit. Yeah, which I'm all about. Let's have that game. But
go ahead,
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, guys, consider this scenario. Picture the kind of guy who cannot get a woman at all. He's really good at his business. For him, and I would say he should probably try to find another avenue first. This is a strategy for him. Donnie and I were just talking about this on our show beforehand. A lot of what happens with these single moms is they will get the beta male, as you guys put it, and then they'll give him a kid. Why? Because that keeps him on the hook for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And so for the kind of guy who's never going to be able to get to have a kid with a girl, like you think of an incel, the idea of a girl giving him a freebie baby, which by the way sucks for the kid knowing that you're there as an ankle bracelet for home arrest, but
Oh my god.
Ankle bracelet. I like that.
Holy shit.
I'm being flippant about it, but you got to consider, like, this happens. Women do
True.
this. Some women do let this guy they would not otherwise let them knock him up, just so they can keep their little alpha fuck trophy on hand.
Mm.
Yeah.
Big thanks goes out to Stefan Klinkscales, who's a follower of mine, with the with $10 super chat. Says, salute to the goats. Every man should be wanting to improve to be his best self daily, become the alpha and kill the beta. What's up, Donovan and Rollo? Yeah, Stefan is probably in the best. He is in better shape than most men I know. Also, big thanks to JC with the $20 super chat. He says, all you do is appreciated, with the majority of you guys creating content daily or weekly. I enjoy nearly constant stream of red pill wisdom while I work. Jonathan, you were raised by a single mother. Your father, your biological father, was an alpha Chad. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'm just living the legacy of ejaculate and evacuate, just like Pops. So,
Like
you know,
Holy shit.
you know, my ultimate, for all of the people who watch the show and hate me, I mean, hey, I was raised by a single mom. So, I mean, if that's not fucking evidence against the case right there, I mean, I don't know what else to say. But at the end of the day, guys, you know, I've been with a lot of girls and you know, single mothers, you know, also raised by one. You know, it's terrible. It's not like, I would not wish that on my worst enemy. You know, the financial instability, the emotional household, the lack of, you know, masculinity for the young men being raised, you know, with single moms. Guys who usually have sex with single moms and decide like, hey, I want to wife them up or anything. These guys are usually, they don't have their game in check. They're operating from a scarcity mindset. These women make some of the worst decisions. I remember I would be hooking up with chicks off of Tinder and stuff, and they are single moms. And they're like, okay, I'm just going to tuck my kid away in the other room, and then you could bang me in this room.
Yep.
And I'm just like, lady, are you insane? You're lucky I'm a normal guy, because I could fucking be a psychopath. I could be a killer. And she is I'm a complete stranger. Yeah, just come on in, bang me up, and don't, you know, make sure you put your hand over my mouth so little Timmy doesn't wake up. And I've had kids walk in the room before. And like, you know, I've had those, I've had those, you know, questionable moments. I'm like, Jesus Christ, should I stop doing this? And of course, those were fleeting moments. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's just, I've seen so much stuff. Like, women need a man in their lives. Okay. If it's not evident today with our society in the Western world that women are self-destructing, you really need to wake the fuck up. You know, listen, I live in Japan, right? In Japan, there's no child support. There's no alimony. And Japan has one of the lowest divorce rates in the world. I know Ryan says he thinks the rest of the world is heading this way, but it's not. Unless these women are financially incentivized to get a divorce, because that's the only, listen, at the end of the day, these girls are bums. That's why they're getting out and getting pregnant, so they can get free money. That's it. Think about it. Hey,
God, I love this show. This is so fun. I forgot.
At the end of the day, am I fucking crazy? Listen, honestly, if you could go out and bang abroad and have her pregnant, and then have the government take the children, and she's got to pay you alimony and child support, or she's going to go to jail. You telling me all of us on this panel wouldn't be pimping hard like that? Are you kidding me? I would have like 10 wives. I had 10 ex-wives
on the regular.
I think you'd see a lot. You'd see a lot more of it. But on a serious note, men still value on a biological level like strength and independence. So I don't think it would be a mirror. You'd see a lot more of it. Dudes just milking the system. But no, I don't know if I don't think I'd do it. Leave me the fuck alone.
Dude, you're 100%. If these girls, right? Everybody's running around. I'm so strong. I'm so independent. Why you always need handouts? Why you need handouts from men? Why do you need men to come save your ass? Why do you need the government to step in and mandate stuff for you? You're so fucking awesome. You're better than men, right? Why aren't you doing that? So at the end of the day, I'm just saying, you know, single motherhood is devastating. I have my degree in psychology. It is scientifically proven that when you have a single father and a single mother, the single father outperforms the single mother in raising stable members of society and mental stability, emotional stability by light years. Light years, guys.
Yeah. Really good.
That's all I got to say.
Really good stats on that. If you want a book for that, is The Boy Crisis, which is by Dr. Warren Farrell. And like I said, I have my differences with Dr. Farrell, but one thing he is really on is his stats, and you're 100% right about that. I got a few stats here I just want to throw out to that I like to quote whenever we're talking about single mothers. According to the Single Parent Success Foundation, there's a foundation for this, a national nonprofit that encourages educational opportunities for single parents. 63% of suicides nationwide are individuals from single parent families. 70, and I love how they say single parent families. No, single mother families.
Yes.
43% of children are born out of wedlock because the woman decided to have the kid. She is the one that says, I'm having the kid, not the man says that. The woman says that. 75% of children in chemical dependency hospitals are from single parent families, single mommy families. More than half of all youths incarcerated in the U.S. live in a one-parent family, in a single mommy family. Because the incidence of single fathers today is very, it's interesting because I was raised by a single father. My parents split up when I was 9 years old. This is back in the 70s, right? And divorce was a thing back then. I was a latchkey kid, man. I used to have to do. That's one of the reasons where I learned my independence from was having to just thrown into the fire and say go do it, kid. And I was one of those latchkey kids. And mom went her way, dad went his way, and this was back in the 70s. So I don't think it was quite as rare as it is now for a man to get custody of the kids. But I don't want to get into my sob story here. But anyways, 37% of families are led by single mothers nationwide live in poverty. There's your stat right there. Comparatively, only 6.8% of families with married parents live in poverty. 6.8%. According to data from 2000, this is 2009 in the Heritage Foundation. Okay, these are the stats that I wanted to get to. Consider the dire statistics from single parent households, single mommy households. 63% of youth suicides. 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from single mommy families. 85% of children that exhibit behavioral disorders, single mommy families. 80% of rapists motivated with displaced anger, I don't know how they come to that, but are from single mommy families. 71% of all high school dropouts, single mommy families. 75% of all adolescent patients in chemical abuse centers, we talked about that. 70% of juveniles in state-operated institutions, single mommy families. 85% of all youths sitting in prison are from single mother families. And you want the stats, you want to know where I got this from, it's the U.S. Census Bureau 2009 to 2011 and the American Community Surveys. I'll post this later on if anybody wants to call me on this. But that, now here's the thing that gets me is whenever I quote those things or whenever there's like this big Twitter battle over stats like that, the first thing women say, and I want to put this question to the panel, the first thing women say, well, it's because men don't step up. It's because men leave the family. It's because men ejaculate and evacuate. That's the first thing that they'll say. They will say it's because of men. If men were to accepting their responsibilities, that this wouldn't be a problem. But understand what they will always sweep under the carpet is that once the woman is pregnant, she has all control. She decides whether the kid gets born or the kid doesn't get born. She decides whether she's going to have that beta's kid because he's a rich guy and she wants to have she's incentivized to have his kid, or maybe she's incentivized to have the alpha guy's kid and then later on find a beta guy to be the parentally invested father that the other guy was never going to be. That is, I would say, the more likely case for all of these.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just to say, I got a checkmate for him right there. 2/3 of all divorces are initiated by women.
Oh, dude, it's higher than that.
70%.
Yeah.
70%. So yeah, it's I did a show on this on my channel this week, and at the end of the day, hey, these bitches are ruining lives just to get a Louis Vuitton bag, just to get some child support, some alimony. Think about it.
Here's what they're gonna say though, John. Here's how they're gonna challenge you. They're gonna go, well, if men weren't such dicks, we wouldn't have to do that.
Well,
if men
and that's what I was just gonna segue into my next point. And the number one reason that they cite for divorce is emotional neglect of emotions. If you live your life by emotions, I guarantee you will be a loser. I guarantee you. That is
the funny thing about that one, John?
It's the most fleeting bullshit excuse you can give. Emotional neglect. Get the hell out of here.
It's funny because we always joke that saying it's feelings are the reason she does it. Here's the weird part. You know how we're always like it's always about the child, best interest of the child, except for her emotional fulfillment, whatever that's code for. I find it odd that nobody ever has an issue saying the best interest of the child unless it comes to how bad the girl feels.
If it was best interest of the child, which is not, because the government's full of shit. If it was best interest for the child, they put him with the father, because statistically and scientifically speaking, it is a provable fact that single fathers raise children better than single mothers.
Yeah, I get that. But what they would do is they would throw the divorce out of court. If it was about the best interest of the child, they will tell you guys to work it out.
And I'm just speaking in common sense. I'm just speaking in common sense to let people, red pill people as into like, this is the standard that they have set up and it's clearly fucked up. So because this is an information war. So the more we can enlighten people with the truth, the quicker we can win this thing collectively.
Oh yeah. I'm really surprised that people keep treating this as like, of course they're going to be double-faced about this. Of course they're going to say things they don't mean to get what they want. Like people are very surprised about this hypocrisy when it's so blatant. It shouldn't surprise you anymore. You should really just start working with it.
Anthony,
like you said.
My bad. Anthony, you said you've got something quickly to add?
Yeah, something basic. So Rollo, kind of posed a hypothetical. If you post any of this on Twitter, you'll get a shitstorm, probably single moms and feminists and blue-haired white knights and shit, coming at you, blaming it on men. Excluding the cases of rape and like the condom breaking, why are women letting men come inside of them repeatedly without birth control or any form of protection, basically, and then blaming it on men? It's like, rape is illegal in the United States. You're not allowed to do it, and you'll go to jail. So outside of these rare cases, which is 99% of single moms are not fucking result of that, right? The result of it because they're fucking irresponsible and they've abandoned maternal instincts and any sense of personal responsibility at all. They're fucking completely out of control and they take it raw over and over and over again. Dude, I've had single moms beg me to feed them a Plan B before fucking them and then come inside of them all weekend. And I almost did it. You've had
them just like you've been banging girls before and they're just like in the heat of the sex, they're just, I guess it's like tapping into their monkey hindbrain. But I'm pretty sure you've had this happen before when they're just like, come inside me, just fuck it, come inside me.
Well, I've had girls really legitimately on birth control, though, who aren't this fucking insane. Like, single moms are like this little class of like, fuck birth control, and I'm gonna just fucking get knocked up like repeatedly by different men. A lot of them end up doing that too. It's rare they keep just one kid. They end up having kids from multiple men. I don't know the exact stats on that, but that's been my experience, is that they very often end up doing that on a long enough timeline.
Yeah, the amount of objections I've gotten from girls that it's like, you don't have a condom. I'm like, nope. They're like, all right, just don't come inside me. I'm like, that's it. That's it. Conversation's over.
But women. So what I'm getting at is women are choosing these men that are fucking them raw. The woman is not on birth control. 100% her fault. She has 1,000 fucking options, or literally like 95 or something. And these men aren't pulling out? It's like, you chose this guy who was fucking. You were both drunk or something. He fucking busted inside of you because he was a dumbass and you fucking liked it. You fucking not just the act, you liked the guy before the fact who was that impulsive and irresponsible to not pull out the same way you're an irresponsible dumbass. So I see them both. Like, if the guy stays in, doesn't pull out, the guy's a dumbass and she was into it. You like dumbass men who are irresponsible because you're a dumbass as well.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, it's almost as though you are the men are as irresponsible. But let me clear something up here. Now, we keep switching between the vernacular single mother and single mom. And my overall point to that is that there is a big, big difference. Now, I'll put it to you this way, okay? A mother is simply a female who gives birth to a baby. A mom is a woman who gives birth, then puts the needs of her child before hers and raises them properly into the best of her ability. And this is going to take a little bit of time, guys, but bear with me here. Mothers, biological mothers generally take the easy way out and are selfish. Moms do what's necessary no matter how difficult in any and all situations, and usually don't have a selfish bone in their body when it comes to their kids. Simply put, mothers are bad moms. Moms are good moms. Now, on the birth certificate, right, it says mother and father. Well, it's not called mom and dad for a reason. That means mother and father is biological. Biological mother, biological father. When people say the word mother, what gets lost in translation, gentlemen, is that the biological connotation of the word mother is biological. We automatically assume that if a woman is a mother, then she must be a mom. And some people might say, well, Donovan, there's no difference between a mother and the mom. They're the same thing. And you guys would be dead fucking wrong. I'm going to tell you why. It's easy to become a mother. Any female can become a mother. Just let a guy fuck you without a condom, shoot his load in you, and if you happen to be fertile and ovulating, you get pregnant. But guess what? The real work begins after you have the kid, and that's what separates mothers from moms. When we see and hear things involving childbirth, we attach this moniker called the miracle of childbirth. It tricks us into putting mother and mom in the same category, right? Like we see these commercials or these movies with this beautiful inspirational music in the background. We see the nurse gently handing the newborn to the mother who's overcome with emotion as she meets her child for the first time. We see the proud father looking on, etc. The whole scene is this rosy image of what childbirth is like. When we see stuff like this, guys, this is stuff like this, like the human mind envisions the most elegant form of conception. We see a wife, and I'm going to take a page out of Steve the Dean's book here. I'm not going to plagiarize without a little bit of bibliography here. We see a husband and wife slowly making sweet love in missionary position, looking into each other's eyes as if to say, this is the day we're going to conceive. We imagine this rosy little scene, and we assume that the wife will be a good mom and that the husband will be a good dad and everything will be all right. But guess what, guys? Most pregnancies don't happen this way. Most of us here on this panel and you guys watching, we are conceived through rough, hard sex. Okay? Listen, man, your mama sucked your dad's dick and he liked it. Your daddy smacked your mama's ass and she liked it. She liked it when he pulled her hair and called her slut, right? She likes it like that. She's telling him to pound him harder. He shoots his load at her. They smoke a cigarette or whatever the hell they do after sex. And they have no idea that he just got her pregnant. This is how most pregnancies happen, guys. It is far from the sweet, rosy love-making session. In either case, becoming a mother is the easy part. There's nothing heroic. There's nothing difficult. There's nothing arduous about getting raw dogged and pumped full of painkillers and then popping out a kid. But childbirth, just the idea of childbirth, it's been exalted and pedalized to the masses as if it's some momentous feat of valor and strife. That's one of the many reasons why most mothers in America are fucking terrible moms. Basically, here's what they do. They essentially ride the coattails of the, 17 hours of labor and epidural-inspired childbirth throughout their kids' childhood.
Well, Donovan, I think what they're milking is the fact that the fact that only half of the human race can physically grow a new human being is incredible. It's a miracle. But they then warp that into this elevated victimhood shit, and it's super fucked up.
You said my point exactly. Women think that going through 9 months of pregnancy and then having the kid is all they need to do to get all of the accolades of being a mom. But here's the rub. Giving birth doesn't make a woman a mom. It makes her a mother at that point and nothing more. And listen, guys, unfortunately for most American children, most American mothers are not interested in being moms. They're interested in being mothers, or they're interested in practice being mothers, but they're not interested in being moms. This is why I never call them single moms. I call them single biological mothers because it doesn't really take anything to be a single mother except for to do what it is that most females do, and that's get raw dogged by strangers.
Yeah. Elliot Hulse said something very similar, Donovan, when he was out fishing with me and Rollo a couple months ago, that any dude can become a dad just by knocking some chick up, right? Ejaculating in her. But to be a patriarch, to be a leader, to be a real father who's responsible and a fucking badass and masculine, that's different. That's completely different than just, ejaculate and evacuate, being a patriarch. So I think it's a very similar concept.
Listen, it's exactly the same concept. And I remember, and I'm going to tell a quick short story here before I do the show reset. I remember when I was going through it with Amy, And Ben had gotten out of prison, and, you know, Ben had impregnated her when she was 14 and she was 19, about to turn 20, and I'm 32 years old, and it's just all a big mess. And I remember I'm trying to reason with her. I'm like, you know, he's this, he's that. You got to stay with me, blah, blah, blah. She says, but he's the father of my child. A small nugget of red pill truth came out of my mouth on that at that very moment. I said, Amy, just because he shot his load in you does not mean he is a virtuous character. He did what any male on the planet is able. Most males on the planet are able to do. Just because he is the father of your child does not make him a good dad. And then, of course, a month later, she got engaged. And then 3 months later, he was shot and killed point blank range by either Amy or the guy she was cheating on Ben with. There's a little bit of red pill origin story there for you. Gentlemen, you're watching the 62nd episode of the Redman Group. If you want to support the RMG, become a patron at patreon.com/Redman Group. You can also get access to private Q&A sessions for around 30 cents today. We are sponsored also by Tactical Soap, which will grow your cock an extra 6 inches and cause women under 20 years old to automatically flock to you while simultaneously making their panties disappear. Guys, the 21 Convention Patriarch edition is in less than a month. It's going to be from May 3rd until May the 5th, and will be the first of 3 events this year. Anthony, tickets are available right now at the 21. Oh, I love it. At the21convention.org. How about that? How about that for timing, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just popping up in this guy's TV. That's fucking fantastic.
Dude, listen,
not a single mom, by the way. Not a single mom. That one. Thank God.
It looks like she's about to be, Anthony. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Colombian, man. Not bad. I'll take a Colombian. Yeah, almost as good as Polish woman.
You know what? Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see when we get there in Warsaw. Anyway, you can also get on the VIP list for the 21 convention this summer, which will be held in Poland. Like I said earlier, getting on the VIP list puts you first in line for early bird tickets, meaning that you get a substantial discount if you buy early. We're going to open up the phone lines here in just.
Donovan, quick thing too. The Poland tickets are going to launch with all the speakers, everyone announced, in about 2 days, so real soon.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you're moving things along. You're moving things along quite quickly.
I'm like a single mom. I like to move fast. You know, take a raw, take it deep, balls deep, man.
Listen, single moms love to move fast in bed and in the courthouse. Shout out to John Nash with the $10 super chat. Says, tell the guys to get a damn vasectomy, please. John Nash, you literally took the words right out of my mouth. Before we open the phone lines, I'd actually like to pose a quick question to the panel. We know single mothers are bad, this and that and the other. What do you think of guys who say, fuck it, I'm getting a vasectomy, raw dog for life, never going to have kids, et cetera, et cetera? Ryan, you're not a father yet. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Then I'd like to get Rolo's and then Jonathan.
It's about effing time. The big problem with this, single moms, they have a will to power. They want something. They want a fuck trophy, and they want a man to provide for them. And they will say whatever they have to say and do whatever they have to do to make that happen to the best of their abilities. They will use all their tools. They will use all their resources. The fact that a guy is willing to say, you know what, screw it, and pull the one one birth control card he has other than condoms, good on him. I think more guys should start. I mean, if you want to have kids, that's fine. If you don't. But the fact you're willing to put yourself first is a move in the right direction.
Okay. Jonathan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you don't want to have kids, whatever. I mean, I'm on the Patrice O'Neill plan for safe sex. Just not AIDS, God. Just not AIDS. We're going to do this. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess Jonathan gave his take there. What about you, Anthony? Now, my guess is that you're probably against vasectomies because you want to be a father one day, correct?
Yeah, correct. On a personal level, I definitely want to be a father. I want at least like 4, 5, 6 kids. So getting a vasectomy is a definite no-no for right now. Later in life, I'd probably do it after having a bunch of kids. I don't see why I wouldn't. But until then, hell no. But in the meantime, though, I do co-sign exactly what Ryan said, that putting yourself first is a very healthy thing. And it should be a priority as a man on like every fucking level, exactly like Rolo talks about with MPOO. So I'm 100% for it. And I don't understand why you don't want to have kids, but if you don't, you don't. So if you want to act on it and take that jump with a permanent decision like that, assuming you don't undo it later and it's successful later, which I hear is kind of problematic, go for it, man. Make your fucking decision and, face the consequences of it, which is probably for the best. So you can just bang chicks and not worry about knocking them up.
Not only that, for guys who say, well, what about passing on your genes and legacy? Nah, bro, you don't give a shit about my genes and my legacy. Men who shame other men, oh, that's just like getting your balls snipped. You know, you can characterize it however you want, but there are enough dumbasses like you who raw dog single moms on the regular, so there's never going to be a shortage of people. Rollo, your thoughts?
I think it kind of depends on what your priorities are. Like you were saying before, if you have if you have plans to be a father later, I mean, we're just about to go do the Patriarchs Convention, right? We're going to be talking to guys who are fathers or who want to be fathers. To talk to these guys and say, hey, why don't you just go get a vasectomy and call it good? They're not going to do that. So, but what is it that motivates a guy to want to have kids? I think there is an innate thing that's inside of each of us, really. But primarily, I think when we look at it from, like, women say that they have this this maternal clock, or they have the biological clock. Like, I want to have a baby before the time is up, and we keep pushing that time back and back. But what that is saying to me is that there is an innate part of women's, like, evolved mental firmware to want to have that kid. That maternal instinct is something that, and it would make sense, right? I mean, the species survives better if women have this kind of internal drive to want to reproduce. And I think really that's one of the reasons why we're in the shit heap that we're in right now, is because we don't have any checks and balances on that anymore. But what we're doing right now is we're saying, okay, let's not even say if it's a vasectomy. A vasectomy is, like, more permanent, I think. I mean, it's really difficult to reverse, although I know that you can reverse it, but at a great cost to a guy. A guy can be a single father by choice at great cost to the guy. A guy can get a vasectomy and then have it reversed at great cost to the guy. Whereas for women, we make all of that as easy as possible to say, well, you can be here's your hormonal birth control. It's all on you, ladies. We're going to give you 100% control over the birthing process. We're going to give you 100% control over abortion. We're going to give you 100% control over no-fault divorce, and all of these things that facilitate the woman's sexual strategy. For men, you could do it, but you have to be one of these elite guys. You have to make a lot of money to be able to do something like that. Why is that the case? Well, because women have that maternal instinct. For women, reproducing is this, almost obsession level imperative for women to have kids. Now, there's going to be women who are going to see this and go, I don't have kids and I never want kids. Well, okay, fine, but you are the definite outlier in this.
That's a great
voice. What I think is I would say they're full of shit too, is because just simply because they weren't able to capitalize on their reproductive instincts. Now, do men have that reproductive instinct as well? I think some do. I think too, but I think it's not as deep an imperative for reproduction as it is for women, because for women it's a much more personal thing. They're stuck with that kid, raising that kid. You think about the reproductive costs that go into keeping that child alive, her raising it, because she's always going to be with that kid. She can't abandon that kid. That's hers. That's why she has that innate.
Well, in addition to Rollo, there's zero doubt in her mind that it's her baby. For all history, women have known it's their baby. Men have always been like, who knows, right?
That's exactly where I'm leading with this. Is for men, one of the reasons why men can, like, hit it and quit it is because we have this capacity to separate sexuality, the sexual act, from the person. That's why pornography is such a big deal, right? Because it satisfies men's biological masculine imperative, which is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. Now, can you add layers of other things on top of that? Yes, you can, but we distill it down. That's what men's sexual strategy is to breed with as many women as possible, because a guy can ejaculate and evacuate, right? That's all we really were born to do. But when we involve ourselves in parental investment, we are sacrificing our capacity to go and hit it and quit it with other women. So when I see a woman and I say, I'm going to breed with you, we're going to have a baby, I'm going to stick around, I'm going to be the dude. I promise you that maybe it's marriage, whatever. I promise you, I'm going to help you raise this kid. I'm going to be parentally invested in raising this child up to, at least self-sufficiency, if not adulthood. That's my promise to you. Now, the whole thing is based on one thing, that I know the kid is mine, that I know that where my genetics are going, you're bearing my children, and I am not wasting my reproductive potential on a kid that's not mine.
Ah, yes.
And so what happens is that, and you want to know why we have mate guarding instincts. You want to know why we have why men and male primates have infanticide. Actually, I shouldn't even say primates. It's like any higher order mammals have like male mammals have infanticide in that group. Because
dude, you blow their mind. Talk about guys going down on girls. Why we do it from an evil psych perspective.
Well, why we go down on girls?
I don't. Girls, leave me out of this.
We'll come back to that. Let me keep going with my thought is because I have talked about that before. I have actually I've made a case. God damn it! You had to go and.
That sounds like a whole episode we could do on.
That sounds like a whole exactly going down on the chick.
Ryan's not even drinking this morning.
I know, that's why, man. He's on his fucking game. I was gonna. So, anyways, there is an innate part of men's evolved mental firmware to want to know if the kid is theirs, if the child is my child. And that's why I was saying before is when you invest and you promise to raise a child that is not your own, that is the definition of cuckoldry. So when you say, it's okay, baby, don't worry. I know that guy fucked you and all he had to do was ejaculate in you and he's not really a father. I'll be that father. I'll be that dad. You think that that's part of your game? You are simply signing yourself up for cuckoldry. That's where I was going with this is that when you entertain women's sexual strategies, when you say, don't worry about it, I'm going to be the man, I'm going to step up, I'm going to accept all this responsibility of a guy who you selected, who you had sex with, who you most likely had sex with him because you thought the dude was alpha. And if you are, you couldn't lock this dude down, and I'm going to sign up to be the guy who fulfills the other half of your hypergamous impulses. Guys don't think about it in those terms. That's one of the reasons why women want to keep guys ignorant of the whole single mommy thing, because they know that their sexual strategy depends on you being stupid enough to cuckold yourself, because that's what you're doing. If you are taking care of that guy, of another guy's child, you are sacrificing your capacity or having a greater capacity to go and reproduce with other women. And guys don't like, they hate that. They hate it. Oh, well, I adopted kids. Okay, good, fine. But that was your fucking choice. Right. That choice wasn't made for you by some other chick who had fun with the guy in the foam cannon party, right? Remember my poor girls? Oh, I would have sex with a guy on the same night if he was hot and he was fun. But if he was boyfriend material, then I'd make him wait. Are you the guy she's making wait so that you can sign up to take care of the guy she would have fucked in the phone counter party, to take care of his kid? Is that what you're signing up for? And women hate it when here's the big thing. Here's the deal. The deal is this, is that the reason why women get so bent out of shape with guys like Rich, when Rich says something like, here are all the downsides, here are the red flags about dating single mommies, it's because it ruins that plan. It ruins her ability to optimize hypergamy in the long term. Yep. Because now what she's trying to do is she goes and she has sex, and this is the general term. I'm not saying this is every single woman or they all follow this exact same plan, but here's the general idea. The general idea is that when a woman is between the ages of 22 to 24 years old, she goes and she has sex. She prioritizes the hot guy, the sexy sons theory, the guy who is good breeding potential, and has fun with him and has sex with him and maybe breeds with that guy, knowing full well she's not going to lock that guy down, but hoping that she's going to follow the Sheryl Sandberg plan for hypergamy, and later on at the 0 hour cash out of the casino before the party's over, and find a guy who wants to be an equal partner and wants to find a guy who has some good potential for long-term parental investment to raise his kid. That's the whole fucking plan. And so what do we do is we dress it up with all this. Oh, well, you're stepping up. You're a noble guy. I hear fucking pastors and churches say shit like, we need to man up and marry these women. Man, if you were a real man, you would do what Joseph did for Mary, right?
And let's clarify.
God cucked Joseph, and if you were a real man, you would do the same thing, and you would step up and you would take over the parental investment responsibilities of another man, and we make that dude a hero. And the only reason, the thing that we're doing by doing that is we are saying your interest in your own paternity is less important than a woman's sexual imperative, than her sexual strategy. And I've said this before, the cardinal rule of sexual strategies is it's for one sex's strategy to succeed, the other sexes has to either be compromised or has to be abandoned. And in the age of gynocracy and the feminine primary social order, that is always abandon it. They want beta men to abandon their any claim that they have to their own paternity so that they can breed with the alpha guys and then have you go and have you as Mr. Beta go in and take care of those kids. And that's the whole thing. That is the whole fucking meat and potatoes of why they hate Rich, because it strips the veneer off of this. It takes the fucking veil off of this whole thing, and all of the fun heroic shit that be like, guys, I adopted my single mommy's kids.
Hero.
You are a cuck. Sorry, that is the definition of cuckoldry. And that's the other thing is when we talk about cuckoldry, women like to say, well, the incidence of cuckoldry is really, really low. No, it's very, very high because we don't call cuckoldry what it actually is. So for a woman to actually,
and now we just call it a second marriage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that too. That's another form, right? So when a woman expects a beta guy to pick up the parental investment responsibilities of another man, she is cuckolding you because you have no say in the decision for having that kid, for having somebody else's kid. Like that's the whole thing about adoption. Like guys say, well, I adopted kids. Okay, fine. Maybe that's a noble thing. You're still applying yourself to the parental investment of somebody else's genetics and not your own. And that's where this all comes down to. They just simply don't want you to, your biological imperative, your need to know paternity is less important than her capacity to consolidate alpha fucks and beta bucks. And that's the end of that.
Well said, Rolo. Rolo dropping that napalm. I let you go on a little longer because I saw that you were heating up, and I think we're all here for you, Rolo. So I just But again, you get better.
I promise not to go full Alex Jones on you.
Dude, you were like a
that was good. That was good.
Trailer.
Just don't find Allah, man.
It's called it's called a flow state.
Yeah, we already have one imam in the Manister. We have Rushi Imam, so we don't need Rolo Imam.
That ain't gonna happen.
Thank God.
Big thank yous to some super chats, and we're gonna hit the phone lines here. Yanni, 28, $10 super chat says you guys rock. John Nash says not just reversed ball extraction, then IVF. Wow. John Nash again. I think that's from A Beautiful Mind, if I'm not mistaken. He said, I've known too many guys locked down by women who went off their birth control. The guy's life is ruined. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Area code 609. I'm going to bring you on now. I can assure you that we can hear you. You were on live. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Doing good, man.
So, Rolo, first of all, I have to say your life is a godsend. And I appreciate your educational contribution to the community. It's information that will ensure to be passed around to my friends and everybody else that I make aware of their mistakes. So
good. Thank you for that.
So I'm a single father. You're welcome. So just a brief background. I'm 33 years old. I'm a single father. I make about $250K a year. I live on my own, well off, nice car, hit the gym 5-7 days a week. And I travel around the country a lot for work. So looking at my socioeconomic dynamics and comparing that to the person that I got involved with, I considered myself in my early 20s to my mid 20s an alpha male. Once I finished my master's degree, I was in the bar every single night. I had so much time available on my hands. I didn't know what to do with it.
Okay, so you're an alpha Chad. What's your
straight to the bar.
What's your question?
So it's not a question. It's sort of a story that I want to run through, maybe for those individuals out there that might have been through something similar.
To be like you, work for you.
I got a question for you. How did you become a single father?
Yeah, how'd you pull that off?
Mom walked away, guaranteed.
And I was a blue pill beta bitch. That's how I became a single father. All right, so
no, whoa, hold on, stop right there. That didn't answer the question, right? So you were being a blue pill beta bitch. That's how you become a father. How did you manage to get full custody of your kid, assuming you live in America. The reason I ask you is because this is valuable information. Oh, okay.
I do not have full custody. I have shared custody. No court system involved though.
Well, look, guy, if you like, appreciate you calling in and stuff, but at the end of the day, like, we got to answer questions. You should start a blog or something.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's an alpha Chad.
Honestly, that sounds just like the standard roadmap. Used to be alpha, slowly became beta. Your common law, so you have to have an arbitrator instead of legal custody arrangements. And some girls are right amicable, like they've got what they wanted out of life. They get a babysitter while they get to have a new date, and they get to take care of their kid when they want to. They'll feel good about it.
You know, it's interesting that like when a guy says I'm a single father, I presume that the guy has full custody.
Yes,
because usually, like for instance, like I know Rich is technically a single father, but he shares custody.
Right.
So who is like I always presume that the primary parent, I guess, who has the kid, right, who gets to say I'm a single parent, is always the mother.
Right.
Oh yeah, whoever gets to make the serious decisions, like what school he goes to, who's in who's liable for the medications, that kind of thing.
Guys, listen. I'm going to shout out a couple of super chats, then we're going to get to the phone lines in just a second. This is a question that we all need to think about after we get to the phone calls. Is a female who has on again, off again custody, is she considered a single mother? Because single mothers, I assume, have full custody. You can't call yourself, in my opinion, a single mother if dad has the kid for 1 week and you have a kid for the other week and 50% custody. To me, that doesn't really make you a single mother.
Yeah, that's a divorced mom.
Okay, there we go. Okay, just think about that as we move forward. Thanks, Chad, for calling in and letting us know that you are an alpha male. Let's go back to the phone lines. Area code 403. You're on live with the Red Man Group. Go ahead.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey.
I'm 56, divorced, yada yada yada. I'm finding this it's virtually impossible to not find single mothers at my age. Everybody's done one. Almost everybody's divorced and has kids, and that's just the way it is. Because I'm not shooting at 40-year-olds or anything like that. So the run away from single mothers, I know there's some issues with them, but like I don't inherit the kids. I'll be manly and or masculine, but I think it's a situation where her ex has to do the stepping up, not me. I'm here to roll her eyes back, not.
Hey, I got a question for you. Actually, sorry to cut you off. I'm assuming the kid was he staying at your house when she stayed there for any length of time? Hello.
No.
Okay.
Well,
he did it right.
Not.
He did it right.
Oh yeah, no, he's the empty nester thing. That's great. At this point, he gets to live like a 20-year-old again. You're gonna hate,
and bang 20-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that would be nice. I'd like to get that, but I was never taught game and was, whatever, the Catholic upbringing and be nice and yada yada yada, and all your teachers are women, and you just get demasculated all the way through your whole life, and that becomes your mindset. So it's really funny. There's a lot of ironic crossover between sort of Ryan's history and mine. I found Athol K, Married Man Red Pill 100 years ago, and No More Mr. Nice Guy, and I did all that stuff in the last 8 years,
nice.
But never understood game. Just still don't. Like,
dude, you don't need game. You got that Sam Elliott voice on you.
Hell yeah, dude! You got that old man strength too. At 56.
Everybody needs game, guys. Come on, let's not.
Yeah, you could be banging women in their 30s, man. Probably even their 20s if you get your shit together.
I've got a 57-year-old student that's banging 24-year-olds.
Exactly.
My stepdad was 69, and he's got a 40-year-old wife right now. Well, wife number 3 or 4. I can't keep track of them.
He's a Chad husband. Let's go back to the phone lines here. Area code 780. Thank you for holding. You're on live with the Red Man Group, and you go ahead.
Hey guys, just wanted to say thank you for all that you guys do. So I'm 19, just got out of a 9-month LTR with a takeaway zoom head BPD.
It's not an LTR at 9 months. It's an STR. Jeez. All right, I'm interrupting. Go.
Wow. Okay. Maybe. Okay. Anyway, sorry. So my issue is that I've been trying to focus on myself now that I got out of this and just build myself up, and I'm trying to practice my game and spin plates. But I have the issue where for about the last month and a half, I, for some reason, just can't seem to get it up. And now I'm curious if I just have to, go monk mode, keep focusing on myself for a bit, because I'm not really like MGTOW in that. But it's hard to spin plates if you can't do the business, right?
Hold on. Are you whacking off a lot and looking at porn?
Jonathan, listen, dude. Jonathan and I are simpatico. That's my first question. Answer the question, 780. And listen, man, there's going to be judgment, but we want you to be honest. Do you jerk off to porn, yes or no?
No, I stopped doing that about right when, once I got into the relationship.
When's the last time you looked at porn?
Probably about 2 weeks ago, just to see if I can.
Okay, so you didn't stop jerking off and looking at porn.
Hang on a second. Is this guy? You said you're 19.
19, man, and he can't.
Correct.
Yo, you need to go see a doctor, man. Like, you should be fucking raging boner all day, every day at 19.
That's
like,
what I was thinking.
Chicks, like, you should be doing that at 29. Never mind 19.
Listen, I know
something's going on with your health, man.
Listen,
you can be ferociously beat. Go ahead, my bad.
That's okay. I know you said you don't jerk off to porn. That's fine. I'm not saying I believe you. I'm not saying I don't. If you are, on the off chance that you are, stop jerking off. And I'm not saying you are, but if you are, stop jerking off and you'll have mean hard-ons. You're 19. You should be a walking hard-on. Go ahead, Jonathan.
See, I'm with Anthony. There's got to be something either hormonal or psychological in there.
Wait, are you being fat chicks, by the way?
And you're assuming that he's telling the truth. But look, you can go down, because I've been down the path where you're just ferociously jerking off like 3 times a day, and your guy is just like, hey, you know what? I'm not fucking working, and he just turns off, and then you're just beating a fucking half limp thing, and it gets pretty sick and like pretty bad, and that's why this happened.
I'm 30 years old. I can bang a girl for 5-6 hours straight. Like,
no, but I'm not talking about.
I'm
not talking about 6. There's proof behind it. The friction from your hand destroys your dick rather than a lubricated vagina. There's 2 different things there.
Yeah, there's like micro trauma and shit. He should still be just fucking raging though, dude.
He was actually trying to say
it's like chicks getting fucked too hard, without lube or something. They get torn up too if the girl has like dryness problems or some shit. Hey, but something's wrong with this guy's health. There's no fucking way that this guy's healthy physically.
Fractionated coconut oil. I'll give you the last word, 780, if there's anything you need us to know or not.
No, like I was just gonna say I don't, because like I've seen a bunch of videos on like giving your body constant dopamine highs. So yeah, no, I was just saying if you guys had anything, or if like just
stop watching NoFap. That crap is useless. Seriously, go see a doctor. Get your hormones in check. Make sure you're not something psychologically damaged about you. Yep. Like, and that you might need to see some help on that. If you get those 2 things in order and you're still not happening, then try not jerking off for 2 weeks.
Caller, eat a paleo diet, man. Like your tea should be fucking raging. Like you should be, if you're eating right and working out, lifting weights once, twice a week at least, then you should be fucking good to go. Like there's something screwy going on.
You should be waking up with morning wood, like guaranteed. If that's not happening, it's not about the jerking off.
Wait, wow, he needs help. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. That was fun. Area code 786. Yes, we can hear you. You're on live with the Red Man Group. Go ahead.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Awesome. So I wanted to say 2 quick things. The first one is on single motherhood, and it's on the burden of performance. Because the only time I hear, like, whenever I hear the question, like, who's going to take care of these kids? Whenever men say it, it's more of a rhetoric because they know that they have to, man up and take care of their children.
Right.
When it's mothers, on the other hand, it's usually welfare stuff and it's all that nonsense. And I think this goes back to like the olden times. Like, let's say when there was kings and queens and there was kingdoms, like a princess, the only thing she had to do was know how to act in the court, be a lady. But if you're a prince, you got to learn how to lead an army, how to fight with a sword, political relations, foreign relations,
and
all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, women had to learn how to pick berries. Guys had to know how to use a cudgel. Like it was a simpler time.
but like you guys said too, with the technology era and all of this, like the burden of performance has increased for men, which I, for one, I enjoy it. I think it makes it easier to filter through like men that are, the bottom 80% and men that are the top 20%. The last thing I wanted to say was on the show The Office. I recently started watching it, and the relationship that the boss has, Michael, with Jan, that's the type of relationship that most men have, and those are the women that they despise having kids by those type of men.
Dude,
so
wow. 100% on point. Not only this, guys, this female that he's talking about, because I used to watch The Office. Her name in the show is Jan Gould. In the beginning, it was Jan Levinson Gould. She was already married, but hyphenated her last name. Any female who hyphenates her last name, automatically put her in the slut BPD category. I don't give a fuck. It makes
The Office is hypergamy.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Area code 210. You're on live with the Red Man Group. Go ahead.
Hey guys, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing good.
Hi.
Hey, I wanted to ask a guy that said he was raised by a single mother. I want to ask a question to him right quick.
Yeah, that's Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yeah, I apologize. Jonathan, ask a question, man. Once you figured out, or how do these kids feel or understand once they figure out that their mother used them for money or used them to get taken care of? Because I keep hearing that this is happening, and I keep saying that the boys are seeing it, but no one's really asking these dudes, like, on a personal level, I know it's your mother, but how do you look at your mother, or how do guys who have single mothers look at their mother and go, damn, my mom used me for finances. She really didn't love me. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a different type of love there, that she took care of me, but it's not a really agape love, I guess you could say, which is,
I know what agape love is.
I have a father, like an overall scoping relationship. Like, she planned out my life, or planned out your life. And then now you just have, like, I'm just a tool in her tool belt. So I just want to kind of get an answer for that. I didn't know if you had one or not.
No, I mean, well, so my mom was not. My mom was fucking bad decision maker, because she didn't even get child support. She dated and got with 3 deadbeats who all fucking took off and didn't pay child support, nothing like that. So we just went through extreme poverty. And, just what I've learned, just like, even now to this day, God bless her, but my mom's life is still a train wreck at the age of 50-something, 52 right? Or whatever she is. So what it just reaffirmed to me is that women really need a guiding hand by a man in life. And it's like a crime to say that to some people. Like, these feminists get outraged. But look at it. Look at American women. They're the strongest, most privileged class on the face of the planet. What have they become? They are extremely obese. Okay, we are the fattest country on the planet. They are mentally diseased. Like 1 in 4 women are taking some sort of psychological drug, and the STD epidemic is on the rise.
The rise in binge drinking alcoholism too.
Rise in binge. The number one people to abuse opioids is women. If you do a deep dive on some stats and some data, you really see the true nature behind females. And at the end of the day, they need a man to check them. And that's why a lot of these Western women are running to Islam. And these dudes are strapping burqas on them, uppercutting these broads and keeping them alive. They're like, and they are all happy about it. And I'm not making this shit up. This is true. This is true. And I like it sounds
to me. I look at it as almost like I've seen some guys who, like, mother left them, and it's like an abandonment thing. But then it's like, once a guy actually sees the true nature of his mother, or that, like, you see these guys who are successful turn out, like we were talking about, y'all were talking about earlier about, right, she just had a kid with this dude for just to have a kid, right? Like, to figure out that you were just used, like, there's a certain level of betrayal there that has to cut so deep that a lot of these dudes just like there's young guys talking about, like, my dick can't even get up. Like, there's stuff like that psychologically, like, these young boys that no one's talking to, and they're not figuring out, like, what the hell is going on with these guys. So I just thought I'd ask, man, because this is stuff that I'm interested in, and like talking to these young boys and trying to get them to understand, because it's like you can see the pain.
Hello.
I think we lost him.
Listen, I wasn't raised by a single mother until I was 15 or 16. And when I figured out, real quick story, I had come home from college. It was after my freshman year in college. And my mother, my mom, she was the fucking worst. What she used to do, you guys are not going to believe this. And this is why, and years later, I figured out that she was using us children, right? So what my mother did, okay, is we all used to have jobs. We're teenagers, we can be W-2'd, we sold papers and this and that and the other. I worked at Taco Bell, the skating rink, and Blockbuster Video over the summer. Like, that's how driven and determined I was to just stack as much money as I possibly could. And so what my mom used to do, guys, I bullshit you not, I'll get both my brothers and both my sisters to co-sign the fuck out of this. She used to make us give her 30% of what we made after taxes. She said,
tithing the church.
Listen, she says, you are donating this to the family. This is for the family. No, we didn't figure out that it was her. Guess who didn't work? Mom. We literally supported our mother through our teenage years. Here's how I got kicked out as a 19-year-old. I wanted a pair of Nike rollerblades, right? I was a ferocious rollerblader. I could do all the tricks. I was a ridiculous speed skater. There's a pair of rollerblades I wanted for $200. So I forget whatever sports shop I went to. I bought them. Didn't tell my mom that I had gotten paid. I made the egregious mistake of leaving my paycheck stub in her car, right? So we're driving one day, and my mom, in front of all my brothers, it was actually our van. So she pulls out my paycheck stub. She's like, "Oh, Donovan, you got paid," and I was caught, right? And she's like, "You got paid, and you didn't tell me." Guys, she kicked me out of the fucking house. She said, "Donovan, you're gone. You're out of here." Okay, and so people wonder why I have such an adversarial relationship with my mother, who has had at least 2 abortions by at least one paramour in our lifetimes, right? Who cheated on our father with a crackhead and ended up moving with him to Detroit and leaving us with our incapable father. Yes, at that point, you figure out that you were used. At some point, you kind of figure out that most single mothers ain't shit parents, my own included. I love my mother, guys. I love her only because she's my mother. But as a human being, I don't really like her that much at all. I don't give a shit. I have no problem saying that. There are a lot of young boys. And dude, my mom is 60 years old, man. 60 years old. And she was that bad back then. I cannot even begin to imagine what 18 and 19-year-old boys who have been raised by the scourge of the earth that we call single mothers are going through right now. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I just want to add in something there with the whole, because look, at the end of the day, look, a lot of girls just want to stay home and hang out, right? This has been documented in history. I'm actually writing something down now. Okay, so obviously I live in Japan, right? And the language they use is Japanese characters. So this is the character. This means man, all right? It's not written very well. I'm not very good at writing, but this upper section here. It represents a rice field, and then this lower section here is chikara, which means power. Can you lift it
up a bit? It's covered by everybody's face. There we go.
So this upper area here, it represents man. Okay, this is a Chinese character, and this is rice. The upper part means rice, and this lower part means chikara, which is power. And this is power carrying the rice. This symbolizes a man working. Okay, this is a woman. And what this symbolizes is her laying at home with her legs crossed. Okay. The Chinese and the Japanese figured this shit out thousands of years ago. All right. So just a little history lesson for you boys. And you can look that up. That's 100% true.
Got the graph and the whiteboard for us. I love it.
And 3 of these symbols means noise.
Area code 513, give us a call back. I saw that you were in the queue. I forgot to address you. Area code 513, give us a call back. Oh man, I had a really. Oh, actually, got to give a shout out to a couple of super chats. Shout out to Porter Hodges with the $20 super chat. Also, shout out to Whiskey to Don with the $10 super chat. Says, can't get enough of the show. Appreciate you guys making men more aware every day. I know I sound like a third grader when I read. Sometimes it's weird. I don't really understand that. There was one more. There was one more question. Oh well, shout out to Austin Miller with the $2.99 super chat. He says, Rolo, you saved my life. I appreciate your passion. The last caller, what was very interesting in terms of what he said is that a lot of these young boys they don't figure out that single mothers use their children as pawns, right? Especially the boys. How do you think that affects the millennials and Generation Z's of the world, right? Because single mothers give birth to single mothers, right? If you're raised by a slut, you will. If you're a girl, you will be a slut. I'll start with you, Jonathan, because you're a product of a single mother. How would young boys handle the realization that, oh my God, I guess my mom loves me because I am her offspring, but she used me in some way, shape, or form? What do you do with that? Like, that's a mind job.
My mom straight up told me I wanted to come to America and have white babies, so I chose a white man. So wow. She did a good job. I'm a pretty good looking guy. I've got some great green eyes. And it's just, hey, it is what it is. Look, at the end of the day, you just can't blame them for anything. You just you gotta just understand what they are and adjust your life accordingly. The single mother thing what's affecting the United States is like, women who raise guys, like I had to go through hell and high water to develop my masculinity. Like, what do you guys may or may not know this, but the reason I came to Japan is because I actually researched what a rite of passage is. And I created, it's as crazy as this sounds, I created my own rite of passage. And I said to myself, if I could come over to Japan and survive 2 years on my own with no financial help, then I'll consider myself a real man. And I did that at 26, 100% on my own. So that's how I had to really develop my masculinity. That's how I really had to make myself feel like I'm a man, because you don't have that guidance. And then at the same time, they're raising these girls who have daddy issues, who are just clinging to any sort of dude. Like you've seen these girls with daddy issues. It's fucking sad, man. They're like serial dick hoppers. Like they're just looking.
That's not sad. Listen, that's sad if you wife them up. Not sad if you're just looking to bang, right?
Well, just in the big picture, it's kind of sad. But maybe I'm some beta cuck.
I co-sign. I enjoy banging single moms, but I fundamentally co-sign what John's saying here that single motherhood is super retarded and super unnecessary. It doesn't do anyone any good. It's you can enjoy them, but it's like they don't need to be there in the first place.
That's weird. Am I the only one that didn't like single moms?
I guess you don't have mommy issues like me and John. I don't know.
Oh, fair enough. Well, no, it's just a weird. No. It's not even that. It's
Donovan, you're in that club too. You're what's going on?
When you get a girl calling you saying baby's daddy's out of town, what are you up to? That kind of shit just it kept me from getting hard. I had to stop NoFap for 2 weeks.
I mean, hey, I'll give single moms this. Good point. They get 10 points. The first girl to ever call me Daddy Dream was a single mom. Just whispering that shit and Daddy Dream, which is just so simple, of course. But I'm
her or the kid?
Yeah.
I think Anthony said
no. She was talking to me. Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Just the purr.
I'll tell you one thing, and I actually really wanted to talk about this when we were there in January, but I'm probably going to use this material for my patriarchs talk. But one thing that the red pill teaches guys, particularly when you get be a little bit older, and just like you guys were saying before, like Donovan, you were saying, there was a point when your mom and your dad got after it hot and hard and heavy. Your mom sucked your dad's dick. Okay. Your dad wanted your mom 7 ways a Tuesday. Okay.
Your mom took it in the pooper.
Exactly. Okay. There was a time, and that's weird because for me with my daughter, it's like I'm very affectionate with my wife. My daughter knows from a very early age that, mommy loves dad and dad loves mom, and that's why you're here. So, and we still like to get after it. So if the door's closed, don't knock on the door, that kind of thing.
On the door, like in college, like
yeah. But that's the funny cutesy part for a guy who's red pill and understands that. But like for me, when I started to become a lot more like red pill aware, what we were, I didn't even think I was really considering it red pill at the time, but I can remember when I got to the point where I understood like human nature well enough. And then I decided I had to figure out what my dad and my mom were about. And like, honestly, I don't understand how they ever got together in the first place. Because my dad was very much a blue pill kind of, he was blue pill to the point that he just didn't understand women, and he didn't care to understand women, because his game was always just, he was old school. Like, it was old social contract, just get a good job, do the right thing, do it, do what society expects of you, and the right woman will fall in your lap, and then you'll have the kids. And that's just the plan that you follow, kind of thing. Right. And if any deviation from that meant that like you were fucking things up. Right. And my mom, on the other hand, is a ditz. She's just a lovable ditz, but she's kind of a ditz, right? And she's at the end of her life right now too. And so when I think about the two of them, like, there was a point where when my parents split up, my dad actually got custody of myself and my brother, and primarily because my mom didn't even bother fighting for us. She didn't want to have us because we were a hindrance to what was going to be the rest of her life, right? And what she did is she went from being the dutiful mother, the good Christian mom, and she decided that she was going to go after the alpha bad boy. And that's exactly what she did. The only other lover that I know of that my mom had was her live-in boyfriend from like the mid 70s till the very early 80s. And then that was over and it was done. And she never dated anybody else. That was it. She was finished in the sexual marketplace after that. But she had gone from the dutiful beta to the bad boy alpha. And she never got pregnant by the guy or anything like that. But now that I have, in hindsight, I can see that, and I can understand my parents better because I'm red pill aware, because I understand why she would do something like that. Because my dad was boring, to her anyways, was very boring, and was the dutiful beta. And he was the kind of guy that women leave, because there's nothing exciting about the guy. My dad went through 2 different divorces. He went through the divorce with my mom, and he went through the divorce with my stepmother. And my stepmother left him for much the same reasons that my mom did. He's too reliable. Perfect is boring. That's where I learned that. And so I think one of the sort of unappreciated parts of the red pill is that it will teach you a whole lot more about just life in general, just human interactions, than just like, oh, how can I go get laid tonight? Or how can I fuck this single mother or whatever. You understand the mechanics behind that, and those mechanics apply to all aspects of your life. So think about this next time when you're sitting in the Applebee's restaurant and you're seeing this old couple sitting across from you, and they're sharing a chocolate shake or some shit. Just remember that guy who's 80 years old and that chick who's like 79 years old, they fucked, and they fucked for the same reasons that you want to fuck right now. Right. And they were just as sexual as you are, and they were just as into it as you are. And so when we look at that, like, I think one of the biggest disservices that we do to our kids right now, and I know a lot of guys are going to disagree with me on this, but I think that one of the biggest disservices we do right now is parents tend to think that if they omit things from their lives, if they omit their mistakes, if they omit certain experiences, that their kids aren't going to go try to do those things themselves. So, like, for instance, like, I've done drugs in my past. I've done drugs when I was in my rock star 20s and everything. And so and I'm not addicted to drugs. I experimented with drugs. I never had an addiction to drugs, but that's like something most parents would not tell their kids, like, hey, I smoked pot when I was your age, right? I smoked weed from the time I was like 16 till whenever, right? That kind of stuff, when it was illegal. People are like, what the hell are you talking about? Because it's illegal now. But when you say, okay, I've dropped LSD 4 times, right? Like, you don't want to go and say that to your kids because you're afraid that they're going to go do the same thing. But what you're doing in that sense is you're dehumanizing yourself, because you're making your kids believe that you're more perfect than you actually are, rather than saying, hey, look, I did shrooms, I did this or whatever, or I knocked it out. Like, my daughter knows you know, that when I was between 20 years old and 30 years old, I wasn't just banging mommy. Okay. I was banging a lot of other girls, and some of them were a whole lot of fun, and some of them were like the worst things that ever happened to me. So to be honest with them from a red pill experience or whatever, that's fine. But I'm just saying that, like, I think that we do our kids a disservice by trying to like make ourselves like by omitting things, right? Like, and then because what happens is later on in life, when your daughter or your son gets to be 50 years old and they're looking at you and you're like 80 years old, that's when they appreciate it. That's when they figure it out. That's when they go, yeah, dad was really, like, for instance, like was it John, your dad was an alpha Chad asshole. You couldn't appreciate that if you weren't red pill aware. You would think, just like what I talk about, these guys who are promise keepers, these guys who hate their dads because their mothers, they're products of single mothers, and they hate their dads because mom has only ever badmouthed the alpha guy who was your bastard father, your asshole father, you know, that kind of stuff. So you grow up thinking, oh, my dad's an asshole. Well, I don't want to be an asshole because women won't like me. I won't have a chance to settle down and have a wife and all this other stuff. So I'm going to make a promise to myself never to be like my asshole dad. Well, you don't know anything about that. You're only getting one side of the story.
I was gonna say, now you're hitting my side of things here.
Yeah, and if you aren't red pill aware and you're a blue pill, you're setting yourself up for fucking failure because your mom's not honest with you, because you don't have the curiosity to understand, you know, the intersectional mechanics between your mom and your dad. Why did your dad leave? Why did your mom leave? Why did your mom decide to be a single mother? Why did maybe she chose, maybe she didn't choose. Why did she breed with the alpha fuck and then your stepdad is this nice beta, you know, provider guy? Why is that? Guys don't think about those things unless they become red pill aware, and then they have a more complete understanding of how they got to being where they are and where they can go in the future. Anyways, that's I probably pretty much just given away my talk for the patriarch's condition.
That's right. We'll take it down. I think that's gonna do it here for the 62nd edition of the Redman Group. We'll go around and one more time and let everybody have the last word. I'm going to be doing reprising the Redman Group after party. I'm going to be doing that at 2:00 p.m., which is an hour from now. And I'm going to be doing it with Steve the Dean Williams. So be sure to come on over to the Donovan Sharp YouTube channel for that. Jonathan, what you got going on? Any last words?
I'll be popping in with your show if you're down. And yeah, just check me out. Interview with the Man every Monday to Friday, sometimes Sunday at 9 a.m. And if you want to get on the waiting list for the Body Language Mastery course, Q2 release, it's pretty long, but you can get on it now. Go to modernlifedating.com, click on Body Language Mastery. It is a course where as you know, I have my background in psychology, and it is a filmed session of a Japanese model, and I give a detailed breakdown of all of her gestures, lets you know if she's sexually interested, lets you know if she's not interested, and then you have access to private webinars with me, and also to the Facebook group, which is men only, where it's like basically the red pill Google. You type in your question and like an army of dudes come and like just hit you with all this red pill knowledge, whether it be finance, fitness, health, dating, sex, relationships, whatever. So see you guys. Thanks for everything.
All right, Anthony.
Yes, sir. So it is all hands on deck here at 21 Studios Global Command. We're about 3 weeks out from the Patriarch Convention, coming up real fast. Tickets are still on sale. They're $200 off for another couple days, and then they'll be full price, $2,000. He who what is it? The old saying in pickup is "He who waits masturbates," or "He who hesitates masturbates." It's kind of like that with tickets. You buy early, you pay less. You wait, and shit, you pay more. Poland tickets are about to drop as well, so it's all hands on deck for that as well. There is a sick ass trailer dropping probably tomorrow for the Poland event. I saw it last night for the first time. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Is it a Lamborghini?
Not a Lamborghini, but it's probably better than that one actually. You're gonna die, Donovan. You're gonna be fucking bowling on the floor laughing.
Oh my god.
So tickets for Poland are coming out very soon. VIP list at the21convention.org. There's also a link in RMG video descriptions to get tickets that way. Support RMG. Finally, tickets to the Orlando Woodstock or the Manosphere event. World's biggest 21 convention will be later this year in Orlando, Florida, like usual in October. Those tickets are going to launch in about 10 days from now, so real soon this month. And you'll see the best speakers in the world there, as well as in Poland, as well as in Patriarch. So busy fucking year, and it's going to be back on the show today. I really enjoyed it.
Good shit, man. Yeah, it's definitely good to have you. Good to have you back, man. Ryan, what you got?
Right on. After this, I'm catching a flight. I'm going down to Mexico with my brother, and I'm taking a week off. When I get back, some new stuff for the Patreon guys, some new stuff for the email affiliate list, the new stuff for Red Mornings. I've got some stuff in the kitty, so while I'm gone, you don't have to sit there twiddling your thumbs. There will be content coming out for you, but I'll probably be too drunk and wearing whale shorts to respond to it, so don't worry about engaging me. And I'll see you guys next Redman group. I'll be back for Saturday.
Go down there, drink some margaritas and bang some senoritas. Oh, my bad. I don't know if Mrs. Stone is watching. No, he is not going to be banging senoritas.
Dude, I have to...
Look at him.
We'll go there later.
Look at him. Rollo, what you got, man?
All right, I'm going to be on with Pat Campbell tomorrow. I don't know exactly what our topic is going to be at this point. We will probably rediscuss or review some of the stuff that we talked about with Dr. Piper. Certainly going to talk a little bit about marriage. I think it's funny because this show is actually kind of some of the discussion I wanted to have with him. I'll be doing that. I am probably going to be restarting Religion in the Red Pill this week. Look for that on Monday. If I can't get Dr. Piper on for that one, I'm probably going to have a Jewish rabbi that's on with me to talk about intersexual dynamics and red pill topics from a Jewish perspective. And suddenly everybody's going to think I'm a Jew, but I'm not. Anyways, that's what I got going on. Still deep into book 4. I do personal counseling. If that's your thing, I'm open to talking to you. You just track down my email address. I just do counseling on a by needed basis. So if there's just a question you have, if I can help you out real quick, I'll be happy to do that. And so going down on your girlfriend, alpha
there it
or
is.
beta?
I think we've got next week's topic, or at least one of the topics next week. Because listen, just to sort of give a preview here, listen. Well, some guys like going down on females because that's just what they like to do. They like to eat pussy. I'm not one of those dudes. A lot of guys say, "Man, I'll eat the pussy till I die." This and that. I got no problem with that. But I would submit to you that half the men that go down on their women don't really want to be going down on their women. I'm not one of those dudes because
Rollo, you got to do this, man. It's so much funnier with this setup.
Well, it's funny. What's funny is like I will. You know how I'll approach this question, right?
Oh,
it's
I know
like,
exactly
what is the evolved behavior? What is the message? Oh, the medium is the message. What's the evolved behavior message?
Dude, that's exactly why I don't do it, man. Listen,
they're gonna be you have no idea, Donnie. You don't know.
Yeah.
What's going on?
That'll give people something to look forward to next week.
Let's do it. Fuck yeah.
Swade Senator says, just don't eat the booty. Listen, man.
That's gay.
If you go down, gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, man. If you eat pussy or if you don't eat the booty. Like, come on, man. Like, there's no reason to do all that. Like
that's nasty.
Like, damn, man. Tate.
Like, no.
Damn, man. I'm looking at this right now. Tate did that anti-Star Wars tweet. He is at almost 5,000 comments and like 5.4 thousand retweets on this. Oh my god.
Oh, he riled up the nerd army.
Oh my god. Oh. I got to talk to Tate. All right, I'm good.
All right, guys. This has been the 62nd edition of the Redman Group. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next week.
All right. See you.